All right, everybody, welcome back to the Elon Entrepreneur Alumni Series. And today we're going to be interviewing Matthew Mitten. Matthew is a graduate from Elon University. He's had past entrepreneurial ventures before college, during college, and founded Foundation Media, and now is working at Mitten Ventures. So we're going to talk a little bit about just how we got started. If you'd like to introduce yourself, Matthew, you got everything there, right?
Awesome. Yeah, thank you for having me. Yeah, so I grew up, I was always interested in business, but was always doing little things like selling Pokemon cards or even running poker games in elementary school, I remember. And so I kind of always knew that entrepreneurship was something I was interested in. I went to Elon, studied finance and math, had the chance to run a clothing company and a couple other kind of side hustles while on campus. Elon has amazing support for student entrepreneurs. And so, like a lot of the executives and administrators and professors at the school and students too would buy the t-shirts and stickers and things that I sold. And there's still professors I keep in touch with who have stickers from my clothing brand on their laptop. So the school was super supportive of everything I was doing there. It was a great way to learn how to run a very small business, but a business nonetheless, and learn about taxes and bookkeeping,
Hmm.
accounting, marketing, sales, everything that you have to do, creating a website. So that was really
Yeah.
great to give me a start, but I wasn't sure what my idea or thing would be to go full time into entrepreneurship. And so I joined Bank of America out of school, kind of rose through the ranks there, rose to the rank of vice president within a couple of years on the investor relations team, which was really great to. I mean, we did the earnings reports for the entire company. I worked directly with the CEO and CFO to show the public image of the company, which is fantastic in my 20s for a company with
Yeah.
300,000 people to be that close to the executives. And then kind of right when I was, hitting this accelerating trajectory, I just had this feeling that I wanted to try
Hmm.
entrepreneurship. I wanted to travel. And so I left Bank of America over a year ago to travel full time and do the entrepreneurship thing. And then, yeah, so there's an ads agency, Foundation Media, I'm a partner in, as well as Mitten Ventures, which is my own AI consulting studio. And that's what I've been doing for the past year, year and a half. It's been a crazy
Yeah.
ride, but it's been a lot of fun.
It's been amazing, man. I'm seeing you. I remember being at work. I see you on LinkedIn, some feet up somewhere, traveling this. And I think it's so like cool that it's so freeing when you're working remote. You can be productive while living a life and enjoying life. So it's like it's super cool and encouraging to just like, get out of your comfort zone and just do something new. So I'm glad you were able to take that step. And even when you were mentioning, was it climate change apparel? Is that what you were
Yes.
doing at Elon? Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I was coming into Elon I think right as you were heading out. So I saw I think some of your brand like in the showcase in the Doherty Center and stuff, but I was like I never met the person behind it. So that's funny. I didn't know that was you. So yeah, just know after you leave, you still have an impact. But yeah, I was kind of
Absolutely.
curious if you could talk a little bit more. I want to see the correlation with selling Pokemon cards and then going into entrepreneurship because I've seen some of the past guests and some of my friends that's just been something that they did before they started their business. But was there kind of a turning point while you were at Elon or maybe even kind of sort of at Bank of America where you were able to say, I've learned so much about entrepreneurship, I want to do it for myself?
Question. I think I really just didn't have the mindset or the awareness of what was possible when I was a student. I think a lot of the stories you hear about entrepreneurship are about these founders who create these billion-dollar companies and all these crazy things. But, most of America runs on small businesses and most people are just figuring it out. And so whenever I thought to myself and talked to enough people who were more in that figuring it out camp, I realized that,
Mm,
hey, I have an amazing education from Elon. I have amazing skills. And I feel like I can figure most things out. And none of it's been as easy as I thought, unfortunately. But most things are figure-outable. And for me, the main
mm.
thing I wanted to
Yeah.
do was move to Europe for a bit, work online. And it turns out it's not that expensive to live in Europe. And it's not that hard to make the amount of money required online, especially in these day and age. If you're creative, there's a million different things you can do. And so once I kind of set that as the goal and worked backwards to make that possible, everything else kind of fell into place. And it's not like I'm making millions from entrepreneurship or anything, not yet,
Mhm.
anyways,
Not
but it's
yet.
allowed me all
Hmm.
sorts of cool opportunities and things that I wouldn't have had in a more
Yeah.
traditional corporate environment. So yeah, it's been a blessing, but also
Mm.
challenging, as you know.
Oh yeah, definitely something that we can relate to is the different unexpected challenges. But I love what you said about figure-outable. That's like I want that on a t-shirt now, right? That's what everything is figure-outable. But wow, is there like I guess forgot exactly what I was gonna say, but within everything that you've done from traveling or just like seeing a problem and knowing that you can tackle it is what's sort of the balance there? I mean, I love how you were saying there's like so many different ways to do things online and to be creative with how you go about making a living or making money. So, how do you kind of combat that big idea part of your brain with the I guess the figuring out part of your brain. I feel like those are the two pillars of entrepreneurship, and you really hit them both or spoke on them both there.
Yeah, good question. For me, I think it kind of goes in seasons too. Like there's times when I'm really focused on trying to build something big and trying to work
Hmm.
towards something. And then there's other times where I'm just trying to get to the next thing or get through the current season. And so I think it's kind of how it works a lot of times. You sell these big ideas or big promises, and then you have to go and deliver and fulfill on them in entrepreneurship if you're kind of in the agency or consulting or freelance model. And so that's the space that I've
Hmm.
been in, as opposed to selling like a physical product or something totally different. So,
Yeah.
this week, for example, I am planning a trip that'll be a couple months in Europe where I leave soon and have currently booked nothing for it. I also
Hmm.
just sold 10 websites to three different
Nice,
clients this
nice.
week and would love to create those in the next week or two before I leave. So that's
Hmm.
a lot like hanging over me at the moment, but I
Hmm.
kind of am sitting here with total confidence that I'll get it done and total peace in my heart that
Yeah.
if I do or don't, it will be okay and I will figure it out. It's not really a feeling or it's definitely not how I would feel in this situation a year ago. So I think entrepreneurship has pushed me a lot to
Hmm.
be a lot more go with the flow and able to
Yeah.
be okay with the
Yeah.
stressful situations. There's like always things going wrong. And
Hmm.
I mean,
It's
I've
like
never
it's like
been
a
sued or anything, but like crazy stuff
that's
happens. And
that's
so
that's
it's good
good.
to, good to stay on your feet.
I think entrepreneurship is just a constant flow of the super high stress. I need to get this done now, and then it's kind of it's almost like a piece of, well, I don't have a boss yelling at me, but at the same time with the clients, it's like, well, that's your new boss, and they're always right. So it's really a mixed bag, but I'm glad you're able to, go forward and just be able to balance those different things. Do you have any, I guess, experiences with mentors or anything where you were able to see somebody else in business, or maybe at Elon where you were able to like kind of just see something and be like, I know that's how I want to run my business, or I know that's how I want to pursue entrepreneurship in my life. Because you're doing so many different cool, amazing things. And for me, I'm like, man, I haven't even seen something like that before. So it's really encouraging even to see you.
Yeah, thanks. I feel like I kind of just got really obsessed with like business and entrepreneurship, podcasts, books to
Hmm.
some extent, but I'm honestly not a big reader. And so listening is the best way for me to take in information. And I just learned a lot through different interviews and creators and a couple great books as well. I kind of discovered most of that though after school. So I was in Bank of America working there and kind of got this bug for, hey, wouldn't it be fun to do something on my own? Had a few side hustles, but
Hmm.
like I said, it was kind of just a perfect storm of like, okay, I want to
Hmm.
travel. Entrepreneurship's a way to make that happen so that I don't have to travel only off my savings. I can make money while I'm
Hmm.
traveling,
Yeah.
which is honestly a pretty cool unlock. Like that was not a thing 20 years ago. So I think we're lucky to live in a time where that's possible. But all in all, I've taken inspiration from a lot of different creators and a lot of different entrepreneurs. I don't know if there's any in particular that stood out to me when I was at Elon because I kind of wasn't ever really thinking of going into entrepreneurship full
Hmm.
time. I kind of just always assumed I would have side hustles, but I
Yeah.
guess I just admired people who were able to, instead of going home after their job every night and watching TV for 5 hours, they were able to go
Hmm.
home and either, I mean, it could be hobbies you're just super passionate about, or it could be a side hustle or a business or something. But I always knew that I didn't want to just like only watch TV every evening for the rest of my life. And so I always wanted to
Hmm.
try to figure something out.
Yeah, I think just having that inside of you, just like that nature of always building things, learning things, just figuring out those pieces, But it's really cool that you're able to kind of just imagine the life that you wanted for yourself with traveling and the freedom that came there, and then really just not sitting back imagining it, but like, hey, other people are doing this. I've heard other people doing this. Let's see if I can do it. So that's
Yeah,
great to hear. Do you think there
I've
was kind of
got
like a turning point, like in your job where you were like, I have, I don't know, I know I'm good here, but I want to do something else. Like, is there like kind of like a black and white moment or just something you were thinking about?
yeah, I think I just really knew that I wanted to do the travel
Yeah.
component and that I was going to regret it for the rest of my life if I didn't take that chance. And once I kind of realized that, I started telling people and asking mentors at Bank of America about that.
Hmm.
And I mean, I worked really hard. I was like on a phenomenal trajectory. I was doing really well, but everyone I asked about this was like, well, man, if you want to do that, like go do that. Like there will always be good jobs available for people like you, especially here. You can always come back. And so it
Hmm.
just gave me more confidence, I think, to
Yeah.
go out. And I honestly liked my job a lot. I had amazing
Hmm.
coworkers. It was paid well, all this good stuff. But I saw a quote at some point that, again, I don't think I was in like my worst case scenario, but people picture like, okay, what do you want to do with your life? What are you doing now? And there's a quote that's like, well, if your worst case scenario is like your present day life,
Mm.
then like, why
Well,
not take a chance kind of thing? And so I
yeah.
realized like, it's okay. I'm actually in a pretty good scenario now, but if the
Hmm.
fallback is just this, then I might as well go and try something crazy and different that I am wanting to
Yeah.
do. And around that time too, I also found a couple folks that are involved in kind of mindset coaching and mindset
Hmm.
work. And I think there's all sorts of different realms to that. But there's one video in particular that's like a lecture or an audiobook or a podcast, I guess,
Hmm.
from, I don't even know, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago.
Hmm.
And I'll send it to you. It's called The Magic Word by Earl
Hmm.
Nightingale. It's like a 10-minute clip where he just
Hmm.
talks about how your attitude is the most important thing that you have
Well,
and how
yeah.
successful people are successful, not in spite of anything, but because of their attitudes and because of their
Mm.
choices. And I had someone tell me like, hey, listen to this clip every day for 30 days and you'll
Yeah.
convince yourself that you have a good, positive, expecting attitude. And that's what happened to me. So I think
Yeah.
you can honestly trick yourself into a lot of things. I used to like
Yeah, that's a
complain
lot of
and
it.
be so negative
Mm.
sometimes. And
Mm.
I really
Mm.
try not to now. And like
Mm.
the more you expect the best case scenario, the more that will
Mm.
become the truth.
Wow, I love that. Wow, that's a gem right there. Everybody listening, that's a gem. But definitely, I think even I don't want to say tricking yourself, but convincing yourself and just holding your thoughts captive whenever you see that negative thought approaching or even coming up. If you can, remember who you are or where you're based in yourself and just be able to dispel that, I think is like so powerful and empowering. And especially in entrepreneurship. I don't know how many times where it's like either even some mentors, I don't know for you, but some mentors for me are like the real like critical ones. Like, what? Wait, why are you doing this? Or why is it like this? And it's like you have to believe in yourself so much in your vision to even like explain it to people. And it's like every day it's it turned less into selling myself, but into just, really just believing in myself, like, okay, I know every day I'm gonna wake up, this is what I'm doing, this is the vision, and there might be some setbacks, but like you said, everything's figure-outable, you can keep going no matter what it is. So yeah, that's great to hear. So I know you have some travel plans, like you said you have like a Euro summer coming up. Have there been any, I guess, favorite places you've been through so far, or ones you're looking forward to going here soon?
Yeah, I'm very partial to Spain, so I love spending time
Hmm.
there. I spent over a month there earlier in the year and then went down to Colombia, Portugal. I did Africa for a little bit in Morocco, Japan for the last month actually, which was definitely the most unique place I've ever been. And
Hmm.
then yeah, I'm looking forward to more time in Europe and then Australia towards the end of the year. So that'll be 6 out of the 7 continents all in one year for extended periods
That's
of time,
amazing.
which is pretty cool. I don't think Antarctica's
Hmm.
worth the 20K that it seems to cost to go there for me just to
Hmm.
say I did it.
Probably
But
not.
maybe when I'm
Hmm.
retired or something someday. Um,
Yeah, that's a
yeah, I
retirement
just think
goal.
it's like it's so cool to be able to travel and make money online in ways that again weren't really possible for our parents' generation, for example. And so I feel so lucky to be able to take advantage of that. And there's just great infrastructure in a lot of places, especially in Europe and South America, for doing
Hmm.
that, where they have these co-working cafes and setups and yeah, it can be really chaotic. Like I could never imagine working when I was in banking from a coffee shop,
Mm-hmm.
but it's pretty fun if you're able to in
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneurship. So
Yeah.
yeah, I just love the travel. I'm very passionate about it. Want to keep doing it forever.
Wow, I love that. And do you see kind of like business opportunities as well when you travel? Like, are you kind of, because I feel like that would like expand your mindset so much and just how to problem solve, how to look at opportunities and even see in different countries or continents where you're going. So,
Yeah,
do you see like different opportunities there when you travel?
yeah. There's I'd say probably four different types of travelers I've met. Some are just traveling, obviously, and they're on vacation, and that's very typical.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's like three different types of digital nomads that I've seen. One is folks who have like a corporate job, but they're remote, and so they're just doing that, and that's about what you'd expect. There's
Mm-hmm.
folks that are kind of in that like influencer, whether it's travel influencer or something kind of realm, or like the gym bro influencers or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have folks who are entrepreneurs, and like those folks are so fun for me to talk to. I love going to a hostel and hearing
Mm-hmm.
like, wait, what do you do? And like I've met people who have all sorts of really cool, crazy, interesting businesses that
Wow.
I never would have guessed even existed. And like, I don't know, I think about what I'm doing in terms of a lot of the skills that I've built and the things that I'm creating for clients. And they're definitely like easy enough to conceptualize, but sometimes you hear about somebody who's making like $50,000 per month by selling some service you didn't even know was possible. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's really cool to me. That kind of stuff
Mm-hmm.
expands my mindset a lot. And I'm like, wait, people pay you what for this research or whatever it might be? And so
Yeah.
that's really good, I think, to get a sense of what really is
Just
possible
out
on
there in
like
the
the,
world.
the
Yeah.
crazy end. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that's super cool. Yeah. And, I'm wishing you the best, traveling to Spain and everything. They just won the World Cup. So I guess, I don't know if it's going to be like a party over there or how it's going to be feeling, but it's so cool just to see the different cultures coming together. So excited for you there. Yeah. And even Japan, I saw you post some of that you're at with the deer out there.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so
Yeah.
much unique things
Hmm.
about Japan, but
Hmm.
that park is one of the best ones. It's these old temples with these deer that just wander all over the place, and you feed them these little crackers, which they just love. It's so like magical over there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Wow. So I guess again, back to the opportunities that you said you were kind of seeing online. Do you have any, I guess, there's people watching who might be interested in entrepreneurship, but not sure exactly where to start. Is there kind of a way that you typically go about looking at ideas or opportunities before I guess deciding if they're worth capitalizing on, or just for the person out there who might have an idea for a business, how would you kind of vet the idea before going like all in for it?
Yeah, yeah, it's a great question. I personally think that ideas should be simple and easy to explain. And if you can't explain it to like your parents or your friends or people, then
Hmm.
you should work on being able to explain the idea until you can explain it to them. Um, and also knowing that like people buy from people, not from companies. And so you need some combination of some sort of good idea or offering as well as the ability to go and talk about it. And so that's a good like intersection. I think if I had found or if they had all existed, the books by Alex Hormozy, I
Hmm.
think are really great as a good beginner foray into entrepreneurship. He has a trilogy, I suppose. So $100 million offers, leads, and money models. I think those three
Hmm.
books, they're free on his website. They're free over audiobook, or the books are pretty cheap themselves. They go through a really good sequence of like, how do you create something people want? How do you
Hmm.
advertise and sell it? And then how do you make like the business model around it? I think if I had access to those books, knew they existed when I was in school, I would have
Yeah.
been able to do much more in
Hmm.
entrepreneurship, even during school. For example, I was selling $20 t-shirts, but I could have been selling 2,000 or 5,000 or $10,000 websites or
Hmm.
other services. I think if I had kind of known what was possible and known how to package things up in a way that people want.
Hmm. Yeah.
This week I sold a $10,000 website portfolio to a private equity firm, and that's something that I like never would have imagined myself being able to do 5 years ago when I was in school. But in some ways, it was much easier of a sale than selling a T-shirt to a college student. So things kind of just stair step, and I'm sure if you go to people that sell enterprise software and ask them what it's like selling
Hmm.
$10 million deals, like they might tell you it's easier than selling T-shirts to a college student also.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
have to find this like good section of what do people want, how can
Hmm.
you solve a great problem for them with your product or service and then
Hmm.
do that in a good kind of way. But I guess that's all it
Yeah.
is at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think so. And like even I guess, in entrepreneurship, understanding your customer and really like who you're selling to, the different concerns, and even, it's tricky to say, but the people with more money, they're just kind of easier to sell to because they just understand the value a lot of times when you are selling a product. And it's, but I'm sure you've had conversations like that and been there. But yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's a great
I
point.
totally agree. I
Yeah,
think I
and I have
thought
the books
sales
too,
was,
so I think oh, go ahead.
oh, go ahead.
Yeah, it's kind of hard, like on the virtual call, like the delay there. But no, I have the books too, and I think like he packages all his like all the concepts so like neatly and so like concisely. It's like you can't really. It's almost like copy and paste a little bit. Just apply it to your business and keep repeating or tweak slightly adjusting, and you're able to go there.
I think so too. Yeah, there's even like stick figure drawing. It's just so approachable and
Hmm.
relatable, I think, and anybody can understand it,
Yeah.
which is a good thing that he has, I think, taught me
Hmm.
as well as like an author or a writer is he always talks about how he writes to like a third grade reading level.
Yeah.
And that sounds like, oh, well, you're going to get people who aren't as smart to read your content or something. But no, actually, just more people will be able to understand it better. And nobody that's like overly smart,
Hmm.
can't read a third grade reading level. So making things more approachable, you're able to
Exactly.
just make it understanding more people. And you don't really gain much, I don't think, in
Hmm.
entrepreneurship by using long, fancy words in the same way you
Hmm.
might in an English essay.
I don't think so. We're not trying to hit up that word count. If anything, we want to shorten it, especially with people's attention spans nowadays. But do you have, I know like I love the fact that he's making entrepreneurship more accessible with the books, the easy read format, all the social media content. Where do you see, I guess, entrepreneurship going, I guess, in the age of, the digital nomads or AI, or do you have like kind of an outlook on how that'll be used to enhance or make starting businesses easier or more competitive?
Yeah, I've seen so many cool series and videos of people who will kind of film themselves documenting their journey, creating their product or service, and then they have this loyal audience of people who want it when it comes out, and they have these amazingly successful launches that you can only dream of. And so I think content is amazing for distribution, and it's the new currency of the internet. And in some ways, many people think of me as a LinkedIn influencer from my network, and sure, I have,
Hmm.
6,000 followers or something, but like it's nothing compared to some of these like larger folks. And so there's just levels to everything. I'm always trying to learn and enhance my skills and develop myself. But that's one thing I haven't really figured out as much as I would like to is the content side of things. I think it just takes a lot of discipline to
Hmm.
post, especially if you're trying to post daily across whether it's LinkedIn or Instagram or one of these platforms. It's a lot of discipline and a lot of time or a
Yeah.
lot of money to pay an editor and a strategist and other people too. So
Yeah.
you can do it, but it's going to take hard work, and that's why I
Hmm.
think most people don't, and that's why I'm discovering that wow, this is it's been slower for me to
Hmm.
take off than I would like it to be. But yeah, I think that's one way things are changing. There's also just more content than ever, and as you know, it's easier than ever for people to create this kind of poorly written or AI generated stuff too, and so
Hmm.
in some ways it's easier to stand out with good
Yeah.
human made content, but in other ways it's
Yeah.
harder because there's just so much out there. So
Yeah.
it's all changing so quickly. I don't know exactly where everything will
Hmm.
go, but if I'm a college student right now interested in entrepreneurship, I think I would focus on building either the content skills or the business skills and just go really hard on one of them. Um, or you can kind of do the business while documenting the journey as well.
Hmm.
Everything's so likable when you're a student. You kind of get this excuse to
Yeah.
try anything you want, and people want to follow
Hmm.
along. And I experienced that. I sold way more t-shirts because I was a student than I would have as a 23-year-old or
Exactly.
something. And so
Yeah.
that's what I would focus on, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, just even being on campus, using that network, to your advantage, just the student network, your friends around you, just really take advantage of that. That's like the one of the main things there. But I've been trying as well, just like with the content strategy, just posting content. If it's, I think I post two. two or three times a day now, but it's not easy, even finding exactly what to say or having to edit the videos. And it's not even just about using AI, but it's how it's used. Everybody can like write a caption with AI, but people they might not like to watch a fully AI generated video, but maybe you can have a AI make the strategy and then you record it. So it's just like it's hard, but people definitely, in my experience, they want the human connection still. That's I guess there's different ways you can use AI, but from my experience, that's what I've seen. So anybody looking at the content strategies. So, Matthew, I know we don't have too much time left in the interview here. We're both some busy people, but do you want to talk more about what you're working on recently at Mittens Ventures? Was it Mitten Ventures?
Yeah, yeah, totally. Yeah, I really just like became really passionate about all the changes and things that are happening in the AI space. I found myself building all sorts of custom software, websites, you name it, for ourselves, for our agency at Foundation Media. But there's only so much that we needed for that. And so naturally, I kind of expanded to doing similar builds for other people, whether it's new websites, new AI agents, or even just educating their team on how to use these tools, or coaching groups of CEOs or business owners on how to get the most out of these rapid changes that are happening and how to cut through the noise and what's actually relevant and all that good stuff. So
Love
it
it.
kind of started as a passion project.
Mm,
It is fun and different than the agency in a sense where it's just me and that Mitten Ventures business. And so everything I sell, I have to fulfill on myself, and then I have to figure out the whole business side myself. And so there's fun challenges that come with that. But there's also fun benefits you get from doing a business with others like the agency, where we're able to share a lot of the responsibilities. We all can
mm,
play to our strengths over there. And so I think it's a fun mix right now for me to have both kind of going on, and both allow me the ability to travel and be mobile and the things that are important to me. So I'll keep
yeah.
crushing and see what we
There
can
you
do the
go.
rest of the year.
Yeah, and keep going after it. And what I really love is that you started out making the tools for Foundation Media, and that's how it kind of evolved. Because making it's both they're both important, but making a tool just for the sake of making it, I think is so different from actually having a constraint or having a need where you need the tool to be made, and just the way of thinking that goes about it, I think is completely different. So I'm really glad you said that, and that was like your basis there. But I guess for any you know, entrepreneurs or potential entrepreneurs, ideators, students, or anybody watching, do you have kind of like just one thing to take away going into the entrepreneurship world, or if you were able to say anything to yourself when you were first making that transition, do you have like kind of a piece of advice or golden nugget there?
Yeah, I'll give two. One that like surprised me, and then one that I think is the reason that I'm still doing this. So I think on the surprise, one thing I did not expect is how much entrepreneurship is about prioritization and just figuring out what to do. I think a huge luxury of going to
Mm,
school is that there's classes that you take, there's assignments, you probably have choices within them, but largely you're just doing them. In most corporate jobs, especially in an analyst or associate role, there's people above you kind of telling you what to do, and that's a great way to learn. When you go into entrepreneurship and there's no one above you, like you have to figure out what to do every single minute of every single day, and there's no one watching
exactly.
over you, and it's really hard. So I think that is kind of something that people should be honest with themselves about. Like how do you feel about making decisions all day? For me, it's something that I didn't feel like I was great at, and I wanted to get better at, and I have gotten better at it, but it's been really hard for me.
Mm,
But that's one thing that surprised me. And then I think just like if there is a piece of advice or if there is a piece of wisdom, like your only constraint really is what you can imagine and what you can go and create and kind of your attitude towards that. And so if you can bring a positive, expectant attitude, kind of the why not me or everything is figure-outable
yeah.
attitude, then you can succeed in entrepreneurship, in a job, in a career, in anything you want. And that I think has been the thing that has kept me going. And when people ask like, how are you doing this? How are you doing that? How are you traveling? I'm like, I don't know. I just
Hmm.
wanted to do it and I figured it out. Like I told myself I could. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, if you need to trick yourself or brainwash yourself, like we were joking about, like do it. But,
Hmm. Hey, if
you can
it's what
figure
you
anything out.
needs to be done, exactly. All right. Well, thank you, Matthew, for this great interview. I hope everybody was able to learn something. We do have the LinkedIn group for anybody who wants to join and have more access to these entrepreneurial resources. But again, thank you for your time. Oh yeah, sorry, real quick, Matthew, where can they find you? Like, what's your Instagram handle, website, LinkedIn? We're gonna put it in the description, but just so you can share that here as well.
Yeah, I share about the travels and the business on my Instagram, which is Matthew_Mitten. I have a newsletter where I share about the travels and building in motion and everything. That's at buildinmotion.co. And then we got the agency Foundation Media and Mitten Ventures at foundationmedia.co and mittenventures.co. So I'm everywhere.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah, follow him, see what he's up to. And yeah, thank you again, Matthew. And I'd like to do this again sometime soon.
Yeah, thank you, Joshua. It's awesome. I'm glad we're having more resources for Elon students and alumni, and we're all stronger together so we can all help each other work out
There we
together.
go. It's all about helping each other.